succeed in that. Everybody running towards the Saltergate Cup end. It's a glorious victory at Chesterfield. succeed in that. Everybody running towards the Saltergate Cup end. It's a glorious victory at Chesterfield.
On inspiration, we can show the way with a new direction. But if we falter or we fall, we'll still get up for more. And when the writing's on the wall, we'll look back and recall records broken out of sight, keeping all our dreams alive. We're into the big time. Fly off like the spider rise, always keeping up the fight. We'll never give in now. Yeah, we can build our dreams on inspiration. We can show the way with a new direction. But if we falter or we fall, we'll still get up for more. And when the writing's on the wall, we'll look back and recall. We can build our dreams on inspiration. We can show the way with a new direction. But if we falter or we fall, we'll still get up for more. And when the writing's on the wall, we'll look back and recall. We can build our dreams on inspiration.
1-0 lead. Tom Casey's scored his third goal of the season, all 3 penalties, and history can only be seconds away, surely. Chesterfield do not deserve to do anything but win this game. John Howard's had some glorious openings. He's managed to squander a few of them, but he got the penalty that Curtis scored from. And Forest attacking, but Chesterfield is ever first in, and the final whistle has gone. David Ellery has blown 8,890 fans, the majority of them from Chesterfield, go wild. It's history in the making here at Saltergate. The scenes are one of absolute joyful bedlam. The stewards trying to keep people from off the pitch, but they'll not succeed in that. Everybody running towards the Saltergate Cup end. It's a glorious victory at Chesterfield.
The second of the day's FA Cup semi-finals, Chesterfield and Middlesbrough. Match commentators Andy Gray and Martin Tyler.
Well, Richard, one club initialed CFC is already at Wembley. Andy, can you see a way that both clubs in the cup final will have those initials?
Without wishing to put people off right away, Martin, I mean, it's going to be tough for Chesterfield. Let's make no mistake about that. Certain things have to happen. They have to play at their very best, I feel. Middlesbrough would need to play poorly and defend poorly. And I think 1 or 2 decisions need to go Chesterfield's way. So, if we get that trio of happenings, then you never know. But I'm firmly on Middlesbrough, I have to say.
The great thing is, we never know. What we do know is the Middlesbrough team. And in midfield and attack, they're very much as they were at Wembley last Sunday, but a combination of ineligibility, injury and suspension has meant 3 defensive changes for Brian Robson from the Coca-Cola Cup final lineup. Ben Roberts keeps goal because Mark Schwarzer played for Bradford earlier in the competition. Steve Vickers stands in for Nigel Pearson, who damaged an ankle against Leicester. And Slovakian Vladimir Kinder comes in for the suspended Neil Cox. He'll play at left-back with Curtis Fleming switching to the right.
Well, it's a pretty impressive and strong side that he does send out today. That's a much better back 4 than we've seen playing. It's much more confident than it was earlier in the season. But it's ahead of that where Chesterfield have got to worry. must still anchor it in midfield. He'll just drop in there. And that would allow Emerson to come forward and runs with the ball. Craig Hignett, who's got goal-scoring opportunities, and will get forward. They've got Ravanelli ahead of that, who will make good movement. We saw Juninho man-marked at Wembley a week ago. I don't think they'll start by man-marking him. That will mean that the little Brazilian will want to get on the ball as quickly and as early as possible.
Well, Chesterfield have 11 English-born players, none of whom have performed in the Premiership. Goalkeeper Billy Mercer has recovered from last weekend's rib injury, though second-choice Andy Leaning is on the bench as a precaution. 20-year-old Kevin Davis is their most prized asset. He missed the 6th round through suspension, and the man who makes way for him today, the scorer of their winning goal against Wrexham, Chris Beaumont.
Well, if they're going to win, they're going to play 4-4-2, and if they're going to win, then the back four obviously have to play well. But I think it's important that the front four ahead of them in midfield protect them well. If there's too much of a gap, say in this area here, you can bet your life Juninho will drop in and exploit it. So if they can squeeze that gap, keep it nice and tight when they're defending, that'll give Juninho a little less space. Don't expect to see too many balls fed into the midfield area. Very direct, they'll get it from back to front, they'll knock it long, they'll get after it and try to put Middlesbrough under as much pressure as they can.
Well, a year ago, the semi-final here was far from a sellout, despite the strength of support for Liverpool and Aston Villa that day. Middlesbrough, well, their fans have been digging deep into their pockets, and Chesterfield have come up with around 23,000 fans at Old Trafford. That's as much as a third of the entire population of the North Derbyshire town. But just consider the extremes that Middlesbrough could experience over the next few weeks. A triple triumph, the 2 major domestic cups and staying in the Premiership, or a 3-pronged disaster, no silverware after 2 tremendous runs in the knockout competitions, and relegation. I suspect what will happen will be somewhere in between.
Well, you never know, Martin. Look at Wimbledon, a side who had great aspirations. They were going for the triple, qualifying for Europe in the league, going for the League Cup, the Coca-Cola Cup, and going for the FA Cup. Where do they stand now? Absolutely nowhere. Out of both cups, and will probably finish 8th in the Premiership.
Yes, they'll be pleased they've got all those points before Christmas, as far as the Premiership is concerned. But Chesterfield and their fans are living out the dreams of every small club. The weather, incidentally, it's not quite as warm as it has been in the northwest. The players will probably appreciate the cloud cover that's kept the temperatures down, and they'll certainly appreciate the conditions underfoot. Credit to Keith Kent and his ground staff.
Yeah, conditions pretty much perfect, Martin. I think that cloud cover that they have up here over Manchester, the players will very much appreciate it. So often semi-final days are blazing hot affairs, not today.
Well, here come the teams on what is already an historic occasion. Despite over 250 years of football between them, it's the first FA Cup semi-final for both Middlesbrough and Chesterfield. Only 10 years ago they were rivals in the same 3rd division. Now a huge gulf in both financial and playing resources. Middlesbrough from Millionaires Row, Chesterfield the ultimate in underdogs, but they're out to make this the most surprising FA Cup semi-final of all time. Since the league was expanded in 1920, Chesterfield are the 7th side from outside the top 2 divisions to reach the semi-finals of the FA Cup. None of the other 6 went on to Wembley, so a unique achievement is within Chesterfield's reach this afternoon. They're in the blue shirts. Romantic feel to this semi-final provided by Chesterfield, there's no doubt about that, but their football has a real pragmatic feel to it. They'll get the ball forward quickly to the tall Morris and Davis, and they do have terrific self-belief. Look at this for self-belief from Mark Williams, who scored the goal from much closer quarters that started the FA Cup run. the winning header in the first round against Bury. Look at this from this distance.
Nothing wrong with this early one in the match. It's ambitious, there's no doubt about that, but that's got the fans going. Chesterfield fans can get up. The opening 10-15 minutes of this match, really important to Chesterfield. Don't care what they say, there are a lot of players out there with one or two butterflies, one or two nervous players there. Important that they settle quickly.
Here is Williams, captain and fellow central defender, Sean Dyche. Here's Kinder, who acquitted himself well at West Ham when he was pulled back into the side on Wednesday. But he's only now had half a dozen games since coming into the Middlesbrough camp. Perkins starting wide on the left of Chesterfield's midfield with Jonathan Howard, who's raised a few eyebrows with his performances this season, on the right. Jules with the throw. Here's the player who Chesterfield considered could go man for man on Juninho, but they've felt really that a back four and a four stringing in midfield is the best way to go into the game. Nickelback, Craig Hignett just pulling to give himself a bit of space on the right-hand side. It's a terrific ball that took out both centre-backs but couldn't quite curve back for Ravanelli.
Well, I'll tell you what, if there's many better crosses than that this afternoon, we're going for a feast. That's a brilliant ball in. Ravanelli goes early, he senses that the ball might be delivered early. It is. It's just about perfect. If you're a striker, that's where you want it, running out there. Goalkeeper can't come and cut it out. Defenders out of it. Ravanelli just a yard or two behind it.
Despite the obvious distractions, Chesterfield have lost only 3 of their last 17 games. Middlesbrough's current run, 6 matches unbeaten, is their best of the season in that respect. But they're being put under pressure straight away by this direct Chesterfield approach.
Well, it was just played back in. Full match to the goalkeeper. Didn't get a rush of blood trying to come out. It did just skip off the ground and go back to him quite comfortably. It's all about pace and pressure for Chesterfield when they haven't got the ball. They cannot allow Middlesbrough to get time on the ball, to look up and pick out passes, to get it down and turn and run at them. I think that's just inviting trouble.
Emerson. With some snazzy boots, possibly a birthday present. This is Juninho, as the 2 Brazilians combine really for the first time.
Yeah, John Howard actually get caught upfield. He had challenged the goalkeeper earlier, and he doesn't quite get back. You see him just about 10 yards behind Juninho, who just drifted into that left-sided position. That's a little warning if they needed one for Chesterfield. I don't suppose he'll get in there too many times and blaze it over. It's almost a 4-3-3 formation when they get the ball. Almost saying as if they're saying to Howard on that right side, well, when we get it, you go up front, form a trio.
No. Jonathan Howard regarded as something of a late development, but he's had a terrific season. Jamie Hewitt with the cross. Now the height of Morris, complaining that he was being brought unfairly to the referee. A man whose experience includes taking charge of the FA Cup final itself, David Ellery. Davis goes on. Howard coming in, and it's just outside the post.
Well, he didn't know much about it, Howard. He tried to use his body and turn here, and actually just catches him on the heel. And it could have gone anywhere. It goes 6 inches the wrong side of the post. It could have gone easily 6 inches the other way. This is a great run. Davis drives into the box. That's very, very close. Look at Festa tugging away at him there. But he was strong, he was purposeful. And he's a little bit unlucky, Howard.
An indication, as Howard will testify, of the potential of Kevin Davis. The young man being tracked by Premiership scouts, and of course scored that hat-trick at Bolton earlier in the competition. The only hat-trick ever from a Chesterfield player in the competition proper in the FA Cup.
I mean, I was talking about Chesterfield's nerves and anxiety early on, Martin. I'm thinking, I can't think of too many Middlesbrough players on show here that have played in an FA Cup semi-final. And they're expected to win.
But I suppose the counter-argument to that is they've just come from Wembley, where they played in a final. And of course that replay to come on Wednesday.
But this is the competition, in all respects, to the Coca-Cola Cup.
Chesterfield have the free kick. Look at the arms around Morris. And David Ellery is pointing
A bit generous,
against
I feel.
Andy Morris.
I think he's a bit generous if that's given against a big striker. They absolutely surround him here. But he does his job for me. I don't think he has to win it. I mean, who's pulling who there? I don't think his job is necessarily to win it. What it is make sure they don't get a clearing header. It's up towards me. I'm just going to make sure it drops round about the box. That's what he should be saying to his teammates.
And it's Morris showing he can play a bit as well to put Howard on his way. Davis in the centre, back comes Kinder. Howard's got it again. And Middlesbrough are having a very anxious beginning at Old Trafford.
I'm not sure what Kinder was attempting to do. After getting his body between Howard and the ball, he then tried to run it in field. Incredible. He actually wins this. He comes in, now he's got it, now he's in control, but watch as he turns inside. He really took a chance here.
Well, David Ellery just waiting before he allows the throw to be taken here for things to be sorted out around Andy Morris, who's the obvious target, but it's over him. Williams is there. And Kinder with a piece of clearing that I don't think would have had Brian Robson feeling very relaxed down on the bench, but Emerson has managed to at least force the play forward some 30 yards from the Middlesbrough goal. I mentioned the birthday, he was 25 yesterday, and the boots, I must say, we're seeing all shades this season. Very much in the right colours for the Teesside club. Festa.
We've almost gone man for man now, Mark. You talked about Mark Jules, and I'm looking left back. He was supposed to be playing, but look at that. Look at that. That's over on the far side of the pitch, right back area. Perhaps after that little scare from Janino's running shot, maybe word has come from John Duncan. Just go man for man.
Morris. Talk to any defenders in Division 2 who play against Andy Morris, and they'll say he may look awkward, but he's very, very difficult to operate against. This is Hignett. Ravanelli, whose fitness is always something of a question these days. He's got an Achilles problem. Festa's got a problem with the physical presence of his immediate opponent, this angular man in his 10th year with Chesterfield, Andy Morris. Davis showing great quality again. Curtis was closed down quickly. You wouldn't say there were two divisions between the two sides and what you've seen so far. And it's given away cheaply by Beck for the Premiership club. Howard claiming he was impeded. That's the way referee Ellery saw it.
I'll tell you what John Duncan must be delighted with, Martin, and that's the start of his front three, Howard, Davies and Morris. All three of them have shown that at different times have caused problems to Middlesbrough at the back. Morris with his height and awkwardness, and Davies and Howard with their running and confidence on the ball. Well, I think they might have taken Middlesbrough a little bit by surprise. And I would expect nothing more than this to be tossed in round about penalty spot and get after it. That's too near the goalkeeper.
Ben Roberts standing in for Mark Schwarzer. Roberts, who played for the England under-21s in the recent international, and is thought of very highly by Brian Robson. No qualms about having to use him today. Hignett, who's come from the lower divisions with Crewe, so knows a thing or two about the sort of effort and determination that Chesterfield can supply.
There's that little tussle, we're going to see more of that. I just wonder, after the cup final, Mark, Juninho was at pains to say he was a little bit disappointed, although he was man-marked, the fact that his players wouldn't give him the ball because they felt it was too closely marked. I think a great player like him will take it with, you know, people as close to him as they're likely to get. I'll be interested to see if they give him it a bit more today.
Beck looking to turn Williams. Chesterfield were showing some concern then.
Yeah, Curtis did well. He tracked Emerson back. I think it's Curtis in number 4, you'll see, who just gets a little toe on this as Beck looks to turn. He's tracked back in there with Emerson. Tucks it away for a corner.
It's been a difficult start for Middlesbrough, but they've got a corner here. And it's off the line. Because Billy Mercer came out then and was far from commanding. Davis.
Yeah, when you come that far, Martin, into a pack, you've got to make it yours, either punch or catch. Mercer did neither, and he's thankful. I think it's Perkins on this post, this near side, who gets the important touch. It actually comes off one of his own players. It is Perkins' right knee, helped by his skipper. Managed to get it away. It was actually Kevin Davis who got the touch on it and directed it towards his own goal.
Well, the worry for Chesterfield in goal, the rib injury that Mercer had. Oh, that's given away by Ravanelli.
That was an awful pass from Ravanelli. He's played that without looking. Got time on it. Has a little look, thinks there's no one there. It's a lazy ball. He's never getting there. To be fair, that's Howard's worst touch of the match after 13 minutes. A better touch and he would really cause problems to Vickers.
Oh, Dyche has let it get in behind him, and Ravanelli has got Beck in the centre. Others arriving for Middlesbrough, including Juninho, and it looked for a second as though it was arrowing into the top corner, but it was just struck with too much elevation.
Well, you can man-mark people the first minute to 90, but you can't be as tight as you'd like to be all the time, especially with someone like Juninho. Mistake from Dyche. He's not looking for Juninho Ravanelli, he's looking to tuck in himself on his left foot, but he overruns it a little. Juninho takes it over. Always looking to go over the bar. Hit the target, correct, sir.
Chesterfield rightly proud of their defensive record. 5 of their 6 FA Cup opponents have failed to score against them this season, including Nottingham Forest.
I think it's a job today of minimising mistakes, particularly at the back. Sean Dyche will know that his back 4 can't make too many errors like that, because quality like we see wearing red today will surely punish them at some time.
Cleared by Curtis. Back goes Kinder. Ben Roberts, incidentally, played against Chesterfield last season when he was on Wickham and lost 3-1. Ravanelli, he must have thought he'd won Middlesbrough's first major piece of silverware last Sunday. Here's Ravanelli again. Hignett is in here. It's clear for Hignett. Well saved, Mercer.
Well, that's a great example of the quality we talked about. That time, Ravanelli's pass is absolutely inch perfect. Hignett made a great run. They get caught. The goalkeeper, he made a mistake a couple of minutes ago. Well, he redeems himself. Stood big for a long time, did Billy Mercer, and makes a really, really good save. I just think if they're going to win, it's so important that they don't concede the first goal, Chesterfield. I think if Middlesbrough get the opening goal, they're really up against it. One or two signs now that the team in red are actually settled into this match now.
John Duncan understandably concerned, but Mercer, who'd made a mess of Hignett's corner, certainly pulled off a fine save from the subsequent shot. Beck. Ravanelli moving in, and there was only Hignett keeping him company in red in the centre. Curtis slow to clear, and rash with a lunge, and David Ellery perhaps a bit quick with a whistle, because the ball broke Juninho's way. And it would have been a chance for Middlesbrough, but it's going to be a booking for Curtis.
Yeah, well, it's a definite booking, isn't it? It's a late tackle, it's high.
Just look where the ball goes.
Yeah, it just drops there. Look at Mark Jules, gets a little bit attracted to the ball, and who's on top of it? A little Brazilian.
You could see the referee was looking in the opposite direction.
He still might fancy this, Juninho. This kind of angle. Wouldn't surprise me if he looks to shoot.
Maybe he just wants the angle to be improved a bit for him. No, Hignett plays it in. Vickers! Well, it's another sight of the Chesterfield goal, and Steve Vickers, who's, of course, for a long time been a regular for them, but has lost his place recently, had a chance to make his mark on this semi-final.
I think he should do better there. Might be being overcritical, but I think he sees this. He's unchallenged at the back post. There's nobody really in front of him. He should be making the goalkeeper work. Again, he'll be saying, hit the target.
Well, two men there who know a thing or two about Old Trafford, Messrs Robson and McQueen. Maybe Gordon McQueen would be the one to turn to for the verdict on that. A defender who got plenty of goals in his time. Well, in semi-finals you have to take your chances, however well you play. Middlesbrough starting to create them, but it's still 0-0. It's been a very open game to this point. Jules. Beck. Losing out to Dyche. Quickly forward to Morris. He in turn towards Davis, but with a fair amount of poise, Vickers dealt with it for Middlesbrough. Not so much poise there, though. John Duncan behind the glasses, giving him a scholarly air. He did go into teaching after being sacked as manager at Ipswich, but Chesterfield lured him back into the game for a second spell at Saltergate, and he must be glad that he accepted the offer.
He's trying to get a message, I'm pretty sure, to Tom Curtis. What he's trying to say to him, well, I don't know if he'll hear it too easily.
Kinder. Jules running with Juninho, but not preventing the pass to Emerson. Jamie Hewitt stretching to intervene. It's back in Hewitt's territory again with Hignett. Beck. Ravanelli! Well, surely they're going to get one in a minute, Andy.
Well, I can't believe how many times they missed the target. That's 5 good opportunities, and only Hignett has made the goalkeeper work. And again, this is a chance. It's left side. All right, it's a volley. He has to rise to it. It's awkward, but you'd still expect someone like Fabrizio Ravanelli to be making the goalkeeper work. But ominous signs. Chances are coming quite regularly now.
On from Holland. Fleming. Bit of time here for Williams.
Well, they've changed, Martin, just quickly on that. They've got a back four again. Sorry. John Duncan has just said he's gone to a back four again. I think he thinks that it was upsetting them too much. Look at this. The life of a football manager.
But it did rather coincide or cause Middlesbrough getting more of the ball, which they've got plenty of the ball. The chances are materialising on a really regular basis. Dyche can't get it away very far. The team from Division 2 suddenly wearing a desperate air after a very confident beginning. But they haven't conceded a goal in the opening 20 minutes, and they'd probably taken that. Juninho, Ravanelli. Great cheers from the Chesterfield fans. Sean Dyche won that little duel. Festa, look how far forward even the defenders are for Middlesbrough. Chesterfield really penned back.
Well, this is more like I expected, Martin. I expected Middlesbrough to dominate possession, to push Chesterfield back, and Chesterfield to defend deep and in numbers, and just hope that they could pinch one. And I think that's what the game's settled into now.
Well, Middlesbrough do have a team, a starting 11, assembled at the cost of around £23 million. The starting 11 for Chesterfield cost less than £350,000. 5 of them signed on free transfers. Hewitt, Chesterfield born, fan of the club before he became a player at Saltergate.
They'll take that. Every little set piece. I'm sure it's something that this is an area where John Duncan's worked meticulously through the week. Corners and set pieces around the 18-yard box.
So Chesterfield have a corner almost halfway through the first half. Williams. Morris is right in there. Ravanelli had to be careful, but also committed as well. But he can help bring it out. A tussle with Williams. And Beck. All the help at the moment is on the left, but others are arriving at different quarters, and Beck taking his time, using anybody at all. It's Juninho. Ravanelli. And Beck. Well, they are carving Chesterfield open without taking the opportunities that must be alarming John Duncan and Kevin Randall down on that Chesterfield bench.
There's not a lot they can do about it now. I'm not so sure what Beck tried to do at the end, but Ravanelli started to move way back in his own half. I think he's the one who ends up just chipping it forward to Mikael Beck. But what he was trying, I'm not so sure. Well, that doesn't surprise me, the possession stat.
Fleming. Kinder. Now Emerson. They're bypassing the midfield screen and Middlesbrough. Juninho. His marker withdrawn to play in an orthodox left-back role. Mark Jules. Ravanelli's running behind him. But skillful they are, Middlesbrough, but they are human.
Well, I think this makes more sense if you're Chesterfield, though, Martin, to get that bank of 4 and 4, as I talked about before the game started. Make it as difficult as possible.
Hewitt, but he's given it straight to Middlesbrough's captain today, Robbie Mustoe. Emerson. Beck dragging Dyche with him. But shorter players in the centre, Ravanelli on the edge, so too is Mustoe.
Well, if this was a training session, Mark, the manager would have stopped it quite a few times and said, hey lads, come on, shooting's pretty poor. Again, if they work the angle, plenty of blue shots, look at that behind the ball. But again, it's not testing Billy Mercer at all.
Whatever happens to Chesterfield today, they offer a blueprint to clubs of their size. They've made a trading profit in each of the last 4 years, during which time they've sold only 1 player. That's a great financial control from the chairman himself, Norton Lee, and great commercial enterprise from a character you might remember, Andy, a former Scotland goalkeeper, Jim Brown. He's the commercial manager.
But John Duncan's at it again, Martin. Once again, watch Juninho, and who's right behind them? Mark Jules.
But here's Kevin Davis. Morris going to the right. And Davis Just losing sight of the ball as he was maybe looking up to see the man.
I think he went to ground when at the end of the day he didn't really need to. Thought he was losing possession, went to ground.
Morris only won the header. Curtis. Davis again. It's a goal kick. Well, his contract is up at the end of the season. Like a sensible young man in his circumstances, he's waiting to see what the summer might bring. Well, much more cup tie football to come for you on Sky Sports. Monday night, second Scottish Cup semi-final. Kilmarnock against Dundee United from Easter Road in Edinburgh. We start at 7, Sky Sports 1. And on Wednesday on Sky Sports 3, the replay of the Coca-Cola Cup final from Hillsborough. Middlesbrough with another chance to crack Leicester. Chesterfield, all right, they've been riding their luck. But on a couple of occasions, they've shown the capacity to maybe unhinge a Middlesbrough defence, lacking the leadership of Nigel Pearson, whose return to the side in recent months has made a great difference generally. There's Juninho with Jules at his back this time. Ravanelli was a bit fortunate that it ran on to Hignett. No one on the left for Middlesbrough. Beck. Hewitt is the defender. Beck's cross is a very sensible one, and Chesterfield haven't cleared the danger yet. Ravanelli. Hignett. And Holland claiming that Hignett was trying to con the referee then. David Ellery wasn't conned. If indeed that was the intention of Hignett.
Well, Hignett has to scale who defender that goes to ground in front of him. I don't think there's any contact, but it certainly goes over him quite theatrically. I thought the referee was quite right.
Well, the FA Cup final that David Ellery refereed, of course, he gave 2 penalties for Manchester United against Chelsea 3 years ago. Chelsea back at Wembley this year after their work earlier today against Wimbledon. Emerson just caught Morris, free kick to Chesterfield. Played down the side for Davis. Blocked by Kinder. Hignett pressed by Davis. And the problems here for Roberts against the challenge of Morris. Brought out by Beck. Well, for all their domination over the last 15 minutes or so, Middlesbrough can take nothing for granted here.
Well, we've talked about Chesterfield riding their luck. Middlesbrough rode theirs then in that moment.
Muster. Ravanelli. That's the sort of tackle that the Chesterfield fans relish from their captain. I don't think Beck relished it. Middlesbrough have only lost 1 cup match this season, but it was oddly against the team from Division 2. The second leg of the semi-final in the League Cup against Stockport. And who knocked Chesterfield out of the League Cup? The same Stockport County. Fleming. Well, they certainly don't lack determination, the Chesterfield team. For many, the biggest payday that they'll ever get from the game, but it's not
about the cash, it's about the pride for a small football club.